At 65 years old, adults are twice as likely to be killed or injured by fire. That risk grows with age, doubling by 85. Fire is not the only hazard that threatens our older citizens. Falls lead the cause of death for unintentional injury in the home. 30% of people aged 65 and older are involved in falls each year. This leads to injuries, loss of mobility, and sometimes even death. Reduced mobility hampers movement and may result in failure to escape a fire. Because fire spreads rapidly in the home, sometimes only seconds are left to escape. By giving you the tools and tips to prevent these two issues, we can help you age in place safely. This is Remembering When. I'm here today with Bryan Champagne, Senior Instructor of MEMA Technical Education Center. Bryan, what are we going to talk about today?
Safety in the home.
Yep.
When it comes to heating systems, whether it be electrical, whether it be wood-fired, or even gas or oil-fired.
How often should someone have their heating appliance serviced?
Well, if you actually read the paperwork on most of your appliances that you have today, they'll say yearly. Whether it's oil or gas, big misconception out there, they say if it's gas, it doesn't need to be touched. That's false. If you read a lot of the paperwork, it'll say it should be checked out yearly.
Oh. And why is that so important?
Basically what can happen is you can have a buildup of scale or anything build up in the heat exchanger, and conceivably it could actually block off the flow of the vent, which means it would actually dump back into the house, could create carbon monoxide situation, which is unhealthy for anybody to be in.
So it's a safety issue. What about also how the oil, or let's say the heating appliance runs?
Well, what's going to happen over a period of time is that scale builds up, so you're going to lose efficiency of your appliance. You may start out 90% efficient for a gas, 85, 86% for some of the oil stuff. As time goes on and that scale builds up, your stack temperature change, your CO reading changes, which decreases the efficiency.
So inefficiency equals loss of money.
There you go. It's as simple as that.
What should someone be looking for when they're trying to find a heating appliance technician?
Well, first, you want to go to a company that's reputable. You want to make sure that the people that are advertising to do that work are qualified to do that work. You're going to run into bigger companies that have oil and gas companies. They're going to have a good entourage of students that have been through classes, been through training, and now they're employees that have been in the industry for a long period of time. You're also, if you're not sure about somebody, you could always jump on the main fuel board's website and go there, and you could actually look up an individual to see what type of license that they have.
What about chimney cleaning? Should we be worried about that with our appliances?
Okay, so with our appliances, part of your annual tune-up is removing the smoke pipe, brush and vacuum the smoke pipe, checking to make sure the chimney is clear, and also down as far as the clean out goes. You want to make sure that you haven't got a build-up from the clean out all the way up so that it blocks off the opening of the smoke pipe. So it's important that you get down below and do the clean out as well as the smoke pipe. And what we typically do is we take a mirror and a flashlight, put it inside and shine so that we can see up the chimney, make sure everything looks clear. From the oil side of it to the wood side of it, you should be getting in there and checking that chimney every year before the heating season starts, because you're going to have creosote build up inside that clay liner. And it sticks to it, it builds up, it builds up, it builds up. Eventually the opening gets too small, your wood boiler doesn't vent properly, and then you get the ventilation coming back into the home.
Now, is that something the oil burner technician would do, or would somebody have to search someone else out?
Okay, so as part of our tune-up, we're going to do the smoke pipe from the appliance up into the chimney. We're going to check the chimney opening and then down to the clean out itself. Anything that's up above, you're going to have to get a mason chimney type cleaner sweep type thing. And you can, and if you're ambitious, you can actually go get the brush You buy a brush with the rods and everything, and you can run them down your chimney or up your chimney and clean them all out. And you're in good shape for the season. All right, an oil truck driver comes in. He comes in, he hooks up to your pipes, you fill in your vent. And what happens is he's pumping 70 gallons a minute into that tank. All right, so in the bottom of that tank, as you let it get lower and lower and lower, when they're pumping into that bottom section of the tank, any buildup of sediment that's been in that tank is now getting churned up. So as it gets churned up, it goes through the oil. It can actually plug filters, things like that. Ideally, half a tank.
Letting it get all the way empty can actually damage.
It can create more problems along the way. Think about it this way. If I got a tank that's already got 100 gallons in it and I put 100 gallons in it, it's cheaper to make that 100-gallon payment than wait until it's empty and put 240 gallons in it. Instead of buying 100 gallons of oil,
right,
you're now buying 200. It's bigger out of pocket at one time.
Yeah. Not all heating appliances run on electricity or oil or natural gas. So what are we looking at here?
So what we have here is a propane tank that's going to be used to hook up your space heaters, water heaters, sometimes your boilers, gas dryers, cook stoves. There's some safety concerns that people should be aware of out there when they smell propane. A lot of times everybody says, oh, my tank's running low, I smell propane. Well, that may not be the case. The key essential for anybody that smells propane, if you smell propane in your house, go outside, shut the tank off, call somebody to come in and do a pressure test, a leak check, or whatever it's going to take to find out where you're smelling that propane from. Where is the leak?
And if we're smelling the gas in the home, we really don't want to enter back into the home once we've dialed.
Correct. You should actually leave your house, take your cell phone with you, go to the tank, shut the tank off, call the number. A lot of companies have numbers on the tanks, or call 911. Make sure you get somebody out there to verify that you don't have a leak that's dangerous to the situation in your home.
So Bryan, let's talk about direct vent versus unvented heating systems.
Yeah, in today's world, we have a lot of room heaters that go into places, apartment buildings, things like that, and you want to look at whether or not that appliance is vented or unvented. The best thing to have is a vented appliance. That way, all the combustion air comes from the outdoors, all the exhaust, carbon monoxide, all of that, that's all going to get exposed to the outdoors. It's not going to stay inside the building. If you have an unvented heater and you have it in your house, it's using the air, the oxygen that's in that room. What happens then is it depletes the oxygen, and now you're going to start forming aldehydes and carbon monoxide. If you read a lot of the paperwork that comes with these units, it'll tell you to leave the room window open 1 inch so that it can get some fresh air circulating in through the room. Kind of defeats the purpose of having a heater, doesn't it? So if you take and you read at the Maine state level, we don't allow unvented heaters in bedrooms or bathrooms. There's a reason that we do that is because we don't feel that they're safe for that small area to have that there. Again, going to the vented heater, you can't go wrong.
Yeah. Now, if you have a vented heater, you're going to have an exhaust. You're going to have an exhaust port coming out of the house,
yep.
Correct?
Typically on a Renai heater, the outside piece it's going to be about yay big around, and it's going to have the inside of it is going to be the flue gases coming out, and the outside of the pipe is the cold air, fresh air coming in for the combustion side of it so that it burns properly.
So winter in Maine, snow buildup.
Here's where we have to be cautious. These typically sit, if you've got a single level house, you're only talking they're sitting a couple of feet up off the ground if it's on a slab. So snow buildup in the state of Maine, we all know, can get 3-4 feet.
Yep.
So we have to make sure that that vent stays clear. Part of it gets taken care of while it's running because it's putting off heat and it kind of melts the area. The problem being is you get a really cold night, you get a snowstorm, it blows up and it packs itself into the vent, and then it can't clear itself, which means it'll push carbon monoxide back into the house.
So just like anything in life, be a little cautious. Take the time, go outside, clean out your vent. A little ounce of prevention goes a long way.
If you've got a gas heater, you're probably clearing a path to the propane tank so the delivery driver can get there. Clear a path to your vent, make sure that it stays clear.
And with anything like this in the home, especially since it's a heating source, we're probably going to want to keep somewhat of a space clear around it.
Oh yeah, there's always space requirements. You don't want any drapes from windows or anything like that or close by. Again, with some of the unvented heaters, the appliance gets hot. Do you have children? What's their instinct? Touch, you know, so you got to be cautious of that. You don't want anything. I try to keep most stuff is going to be a requirement of 6 inches around the sides, so that you can actually be able to maneuver around and still, as this heater here is, it's going to come through the bottom, is going to where the heat's going to blow out. So you want to make sure that stays open so it can open up and expand to develop the heat into the room. Always make sure that you maintain non-combustible materials around any gas heater.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much, Brian, of
No problem.
MEMA Technical Education Center.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure.
It's been good.
Electric space heaters keep us warm and cozy here in the state of Maine during the cold winter months. And if used appropriately, they work as a great supplemental heating source in the home. Use only electric space heaters that have been tested by a national laboratory. Make sure the space heater has a guard and automatic tip-over shutoff. Keep space heaters 3 feet away from anything that can burn. That includes you. Keep pets and children away from them as well. When not in use, unplug your electric space heater. Before going to bed or leaving the home, shut off your heater and unplug it. Always plug your space heater directly into a wall outlet, never an extension cord or power strip. Don't get beat. Be safe with electric heat. Each summer, thousands of people are injured using consumer fireworks. Sparklers burn at 1200 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hot enough to cause third-degree burns. The best way to avoid injuries from fireworks is to leave them to professionals. Check with your local municipality or the state fire marshal's website for towns allowing use and sale of fireworks. Brunswick, for instance, does not allow consumer fireworks to be sold or discharged. Attend a public display performed by professionals. Enjoy the brilliant colors in the night sky. After the show, never pick up fireworks on the ground. Enjoy your summer. Stay safe. Today, Denise Thibault is going to demonstrate for us how to prevent falls by following one simple rule. Take your time. Use sturdy chairs with arms that you can push off to stand up. Be careful with rolling chairs. These can slide out from under you. Take your time. If you are at a desk and it is stable, put your hands on the desktop for balance as you stand. Take your time getting out of chairs. Do it slow. Don't rush. That can lead to a fall. When sitting in your chair or on the couch, don't let things rush you. When the phone or doorbell rings, take your time getting up. Don't become distracted. Focus on your task and move towards it. When using a recliner, consider one designed for seniors. There are lift chairs that tilt forward. This will help you get out of your chair with little difficulty, preventing you slipping or falling out of the chair. If you don't have a lift recliner, take your time getting out of your chair. Before getting out of bed, sit a moment. Our blood pressure fluctuates from lying, sitting, and standing. Let your body get used to the changes in blood pressure before standing. Before you walk, get your balance. Get your feet under you. Don't rush it. Be mindful of your environment. Where's your cat or your dog? Have your grandchildren been visiting? Did they leave out toys? Do you have solid surfaces to hold on to as you walk? Take your time and again, watch your surroundings. A simple rule of thumb, take your time, don't rush. Careful steps can prevent a fall. Thank you for your time, Denise.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could help.
When smoking cigarettes, don't be careless. Follow these simple tips to be safe. Always use an ashtray. If cigarettes aren't properly disposed of, they can cause fires. Discard cigarettes in a container approved to hold smoking materials or a bucket of water. If you are on oxygen and smoke, be careful. Remove your oxygen cannula or mask and turn your tank off. Go outside. Wait 10 minutes before lighting up. Your clothes have been saturated with oxygen and can catch fire with ease, so you must wait. Smoke safely and dispose of your smoking materials appropriately. If it's lit, don't let it sit. We're back again with Jane Margesson and Commander Mark Waltz, and we're going to talk today about ID theft. How are you both doing?
Good, how are you?
Just fine, thank
Doing
you.
well. So, take me down this road, ID theft.
Start or?
Sure. So ID theft is basically someone taking some of your personal information, and then they may use it to take a mortgage out in their name or actually your name. They may use it to take out a credit card, compromise somehow some of your bank accounts. So it's somehow using your personal information that only you should know to get a financial benefit of it, and their benefit's probably going to hurt you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's basically the way it works is identity thieves will gather as much information as they can, a social security number, an address, your age, your full name, you know, pieces of the puzzle that they need to ultimately pretend to be you. And Commander Waltz is absolutely right. They can then take out credit in your name. They can even apply for government benefits in your name. And it can take years to unravel the damage that is done from identity theft. The fact is, this crime is so prevalent in the United States, it's estimated that every 2 seconds someone's identity is stolen in this country.
Wow.
So just while we're sitting and talking here, I mean, it's, when you think about it, every 2 seconds.
Wow.
It's a huge, huge problem. And it's difficult to understand sometimes how people acquire all this information about you. But the fact is, a lot of our personal information just is out there. A lot of these scams have really taken off because of the internet and all the technology that's now available. And scammers work in huge rooms very often. Some of them just work out of their home, but some of them work in what they call boiler rooms. Huge rooms like this one that are just lined with telephones and computers, and this is what they do day in and day out. They're just calling people, they're trying to trap you through email, whatever they can do to get you to kind of you know, just engage with them in some way so they can try to scam you. So in the case of identity theft, what's wonderfully good news is in the state of Maine, there's a step you can take that will really protect you from this crime. And the way it works is you place a freeze on your credit report. A credit report is sometimes called a credit file. They're one and the same, but your credit report is where all of your financial information is housed. So if you have credit cards, or you have a mortgage on your house, or a bank loan of some nature, or an automobile loan, all of that information is part of your credit report. So a lender down the road, if you've ever opened up a credit card, you know they say, that's fine that you want to apply for this credit card, but we need to check your credit. That's what they're doing, is they're taking a look at your credit report and making sure that you would be a good option for them to lend money to. So that is, all that information is the danger zone. You do not want a scammer getting hold of your credit report, because that's when they can start taking out the credit in your name, applying for government benefits, etc. So if you place a freeze on your credit report, you literally lock it down, you are greatly minimizing the damage from an identity theft situation. And in the state of Maine, it's completely free to do this, and there's no age limit. So parents and grandparents, please place a freeze on your kids or your grandchild's credit reports as well. We've had cases of identity theft in infants as young as 2 months old. which can often go undetected for a very long time. So it's a great step to take. We've got this wonderful brochure that just shows you step by step exactly what to do.
And I'm sure this information is online on AARP's website?
Absolutely, and we have plenty of these brochures we're happy to send. The trick is that you must place the freeze with all 3 major credit bureaus. You cannot do it with just one. But there are 3, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And place the freeze with all 3, and it's so easy, David. You can do it by phone, you can do it online, and you can do it by mail, and it won't cost you a dime. And then the next time you want to apply for a loan of some nature or get a credit card, you can just temporarily remove the freeze, conduct the business you need to conduct, and then place the freeze right back on again. It's free either way. And one thing to remember when you place a freeze on your credit report, it will not affect your ability to use your credit card, and it also will not affect your credit score. So neither of those things will be detrimental if you place the freeze. The other thing that we recommend is all 3 credit bureaus allow you to get a copy of your full credit report once a year for free. So with all 3 credit bureaus, if you stagger this, you can actually get a copy of your credit report every 4 months. And it's a wonderful way to just look at what's there, make sure everything is correct. If you see any kind of a problem or something suspicious, then you're going to be able to take time to, access the credit report and take care of any discrepancies.
Unfortunately, people do get their identity stolen. It happens. How difficult is it afterwards? The steps that people have to go through to try and rectify this. It's grand, isn't it?
It can be difficult, but the first thing they should do is actually contact the local police and file a police report.
We actually had one of our employees a few years back that the ex-husband with the new wife took out a loan pretending they were the former wife because the ex-husband had the personal information of the ex-wife, Social Security number and things, and the person assumed their identity. So in a situation like that, we've got a pretty good chance of solving it. Sometimes if it's someone that calls you over the phone and they were overseas and they tricked you into giving a Social Security number and they got a credit card with it, that may be a harder one to solve, but still report it to us. But if it's a situation like this one I described, where it's someone in the U.S., maybe even the town that did it, we've got a good chance of putting it together, getting the person charged, holding them accountable. You're going to end up having to prove to the credit reporting agencies and maybe the debtors that it wasn't you that took out this loan. If they're following proper procedures, they should have been able to figure that out, because they should have asked for an ID, and the ID should have matched, the person, unless they made a fake ID. So some of the people are pretty creative, but definitely report things to us. Be very skeptical if someone's asking for your Social Security number. If it's in-person transaction and it's the financial institution, okay, it makes sense. And there may be sometimes, say through an encrypted email, that you know where it's coming from, but never put your Social Security number or your personal information through a regular email. Assume it's like an open letter you're passing down the street to ask someone to deliver, because everyone along the way can see the information in it. So don't send that stuff in a regular email.
And in addition to filing a police report, you'll want to contact the credit bureaus. And the first thing they're going to tell you to do is to place a freeze on your report. So again, this is really, taking that proactive step is just so important and so easy to do.
So place a freeze on your credit report. Be wary about giving out your Social Security number to anyone that you don't know or trust, or an institution that you trust. And essentially be proactive. Really take the steps ahead of time. Don't wait for it to happen to you.
Exactly.
You got it.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate we have to talk about this, but it happens. So at least our viewers at home are now armed with some information that maybe they can take these steps, protect themselves. And again, check out our link on the screen right here. And hopefully you stay protected. Until next time, stay safe.